Hey guys, hello to my beautiful 800 plus now, like 825 of you, lucid dreamers and lucid entrepreneurs. I'm Lana Sackwild, and I'm excited to dive into more tips, techniques, stories, all connected to lucid dreaming, lucid living, consciously creating the life of total abundance that you are in love with. Say hi to me if you're tuning in live. Give me a hashtag live. If you're catching this on replay, give me a hashtag replay. Let me know where you're tuning in from. As you can see, I just have like the worst stomach cramps today. It's seriously hard being a woman. So I'm connecting with y'all from Colorado, just in my PJs. I was honestly in bed until like 30 minutes before this. I was actually having the most epic dream about my husband and I taking care of like 30 kittens. It was very cute. So today's session is amazing, as always, but particularly amazing this week as you guys voted for it, right? I love doing the topics that you guys want to hear about, that you voted for. So by popular demand, this week's topic is centered around lucid dreaming for connecting with the deceased. So I've had a lot of recent conversations with people who are having a hard time in the grieving process. And actually, the topic even came up on Monday in my Bible study group about how we oftentimes even just lack the words to comfort people when someone passes over. It could be such an awkward topic, right? Especially in Western culture in particular, where you're kind of just like, I'm really sorry for your loss, wishing you the best with that kind of thing. You don't really know what to say, praying for you, all of these things that mean well, of course. And in recent years, I've found it personally very strange when someone tells me that someone has passed for two major reasons. The first is that as a Christian, I honestly feel excited when someone passes. I'm excited for them. It's that they get to transcend this human experience and connect with God. Like, what can be celebrated more than that, right? But the second reason that I'm excited is actually for the griever themselves, because with dream work, it's incredibly common that, especially if someone close to them has just passed, they will experience what we call a visitation dream, where the recently deceased person will visit them in a dream. And this can commonly become a lucid dream, since they will be conscious, like, what? This person just died. And, so then they show up in their dream, and the dreamer's like, wait, how can you be here, right? And they get lucid. But they oftentimes have incredibly profound dreams with the recently deceased. And these can be amazing for numerous reasons that I want to go into a little bit more in depth with you guys today and share some examples of that. So yeah, this topic gets me really, really excited. For me personally, connecting with the deceased through dream work has just completely changed my outlook on life and death. Even it's changed a lot of my worldview. It's really helped me to process death in such a new way. And visitation dreams they've also massively increased my actual lucid dream frequency, the amount of times that I get lucid. It's deepened my relationship with people I know who have passed, people in my life who have passed. And this is absolutely something that can happen to a lot of people spontaneously, but you can also absolutely induce visitation dreams as well. So, as you guys know, I don't believe in anything being a crazy complicated process. I believe in keeping things as simple as possible. we can just get really clear on our intentions, not waste our time on things that don't actually have to be done. I'm a firm believer of working smarter, not harder, and I always will be. But I also believe that you have to really get intentional about it if you want this to happen. This is no joke. Like I was saying to you, it can be a single experience that drastically changes your worldview. It changed my entire relationship with death and dying. So for me, this was an incredibly potent thing to explore. It was a really, really good thing. I don't know that absolutely everyone is ready for this kind of shift or transformation or connection, but if you are ready, if you do want to connect with a deceased relative or maybe a pet or even just someone that you don't even know who has passed, whoever you want, firstly, nothing can stop you with that. You can seriously start exploring visitation dreams as soon as the next time you go to sleep. So, someone has passed and you want to connect them in a lucid dream. Going back to my conversation that I said I was having, lots of people will connect with me, contact me and say, there's someone who's passed. I want to connect with them in my lucid dream. And especially this happens if it was a sudden passing, if maybe they felt like they didn't really get to say goodbye properly, or if they just miss them and they want to connect again, right? So I often share my experience with them about my cat passing away. It happened really, really suddenly, and it was also at a time that was very specific, and I understand why she had to go at that time. But it hit me really hard all the same. She literally died in my arms, and it was one of the first times that I'd seen consciousness leave someone's body. The light went out in her eyes. So for 2 weeks, every single night, I induced a lucid dream, and we just played. I would sit and lay, and we'd snuggle up. I would get to feel her body vibrating against mine as she was purring away. We'd run around the garden together and do all the usual things that we really like to do. And initially, during the start of those 2 weeks that she passed, I would get lucid and be like, oh my God, we get this extra time together. And so I would want to make the most of it, just playing, hugging her, loving on her, right? And then about a week in, it dawned on me that since I was lucid dreaming, we could actually communicate, right? Me and my cat. So then I began telepathically speaking with my deceased cat. We had conversations about all of these really particular times in our life together that she felt the most happy, or I loved talking to her about particular memories that she had. And I can't even express how strange this situation was. This is what started really blowing my mind about lucid dreaming and connecting with the deceased, because she would share with me very particular scenarios that she enjoyed, which I would have never have thought of in my normal waking life, or it was those kind of memories that I didn't even consciously remember until she actually brought them up, right? You've probably had that as well, where you've shared a memory with someone, you have no recollection of it until they bring it up and you're like, oh yeah, that did happen. So this led me to believe that there was something more to this process than me just connecting with a memory, my own memory of my cat in my dream, and that I was actually very much so connecting to her consciousness. And after 2 weeks of this, I felt like I'd genuinely bonded with her in such a deep way that our relationship just really continued to deepen even after her passing. And I think this then got me to the point where, I knew that I could actually let her go. and that she would be here to connect with me via my lucid dreams whenever I wanted to or whenever I needed to. And after that process, that's what got me to feel that like full-on closure. And my cat, as well as my mom's cat who passed a couple of years ago, both now regularly show up in my dreams. They get me lucid all the time. And those are some of the best, like my most favorite lucid dreams I ever experienced, quite honestly. I share about my cat giving me a huge revelation in a recent lucid dream in Robert Wagner's Lucid Dream Experience magazine a couple of months back. I was actually interviewed in the Lucid Dreaming Experience magazine recently on my lucid dreaming practice in general, and that was published in the magazine that came out yesterday. It's totally free, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. So that was one of my experiences connecting with the deceased. And there are some other videos on my YouTube channel where I share about connecting with my Nana who passed and her sharing information with me that I just couldn't have ever possibly known, and confirming this information with my dad upon awakening. And I didn't not even know that she had passed away. In fact, she was in the UK and I was in the USA, but she appeared in my dream the night that she had passed, or it must have been just after she'd passed. I got lucid. I had the best time with her. She was really young again. She was in a much younger body or version of her that I never saw her that young, obviously, in my waking life. And in waking life, she had had a stroke. She was getting really, really old. She couldn't walk around very well without support or that kind of thing. But in the lucid dream, she was back to a really young version of herself. And it was so awesome to see her. She was running around. We're in this kind of mini kitchen area, and she was making me a sandwich. She wanted to make me a cup of tea. And she was just so excited. She was so happy. And she began to share with me a lot about death, dying, and that entire process. There was a couple of things that was weird about that. One of them was that after awakening from that lucid dream, I was able to remember so many parts of it, just really crystal clear. But there were specific questions I asked my Nana, and those answers were blurred out of my memory. It was everything's crystal clear, and then there was very particular answers she gave that were just totally erased. I couldn't bring those ones specifically back to the waking state. So I thought that was weird. I thought that was interesting. In addition to that, I couldn't control my Nana at all. And what I mean by that is that, I wanted to experience certain things with her whilst we were in the lucid dream together. With my cat, as I was explaining to you earlier, I wanted to play, I wanted to lay together, I wanted to do some of the things that we usually did. And with my Nana, she had total autonomy inside my lucid dream. So one part of the dream, I was like I was saying, we're in this kitchen area and she was cooking and stuff, making me a sandwich. And I suggested to her, hey, do you want to go flying together? I was feeling really excited about that. I was the prospect of just flying through the air with my Nana, how cool would that be? But my Nana was oh no, darling, it just sounds so extreme. And I'm just so enjoying talking with you here and being able to walk around like this again without being in any pain. So I thought that was really interesting too. And I've also shared a couple of stories about one of my friends who I believe may have committed suicide. And it's been a real struggle connecting with him in the lucid dreaming space. I've had some very strange encounters that I've shared in other videos with his spirit, so to speak. But I hope me sharing some of what I've shared with you guys here today, some of these stories, is coming through clearly in the potential of this practice for you yourself. Let me know in the comments if this is insightful or helpful at all for you guys, because like it says in the Gospel of Thomas, if you bring forth what's within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what's within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. And this is why, every day I choose to show up, I choose to share and give within the realms of lucid dreaming and lucid living practices, whether it's through private sessions, one-on-one coaching, group sessions inside the Lucid Entrepreneur Lab, these free sessions and trainings that I do here in my Lucid Living and Dreaming Facebook group, across my YouTube channel, the weird-ass TikToks that you guys enjoy me getting into, and my master classes. In whatever ways that I can, I do my best to share, honestly, what I feel the world and people I'm connected with, including you guys tuned in today, can benefit from the most. I'm waking up, I'm choosing to do that every single day. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes there are difficult topics like today that can be really, really personal, or things that can bring up, really deep emotions for people, things that are a bit more taboo to talk about: death, dying, the afterlife, consciousness, connecting to the deceased, right? But people ask me to share on it, and I believe, I am here to share about it. Because if I don't, just like that verse says, it will destroy me. And this has madly, amazingly improved my life in so many ways. And so I hope that it helps even one person tuning into this today. If I wasn't doing what I'm destined to do, if I wasn't showing up and sharing these very sometimes strange things about lucid dreaming and lucid living practices, and instead I was just sitting in an office sending out emails all day, I would be dying a very slow and painful death. So showing up, sharing some of these more intimate sides of this practice is sometimes scary. Probably not everyone agrees with it, but it keeps me, ironically, in this case, very much alive. So if you consider yourself a lucid dreamer, if you're an aspiring lucid dreamer, if you're into spiritual practices, transformations, consciousness, if you're a light worker, a spiritual entrepreneur, or if any label under the sun that I'm kind of talking about, if you're resonating with what I'm sharing in this session, please don't give up on this. Please just give it a go for yourself. Even if you think I'm crazy, if what I'm sharing today is absolutely insane and completely impossible, if you take anything from this at all, just go and experience it for yourself. If you've had an experience yourself already, or if me sharing any of this today has stirred anything within you, I would love to hear about it. I would love to know what you think. Do you think we can contact the deceased in our lucid dreams? Do you think we actually connect with the consciousness of the person who has died or who has passed? Have you experienced a visitation dream before yourself? Have you had one of these experiences? Would you like to experience a visitation dream? And if you would, who would you like to have a visitation dream with? Or do you think this is a whole load of baloney and I'm just completely insane? If you are interested and you want to experience some things within these realms and so much more, there are people like myself who want to teach you. We want to help you have these experiences. This is why I run courses, master classes. I want more than anything to share this with people like you. And it's not just me, especially inside of the lab. I work alongside 14 guest coaches at the moment who have expertise in all kinds of areas of dream work, from things like this, connecting with the deceased, connecting with people who have passed, to telepathic dreaming, precognitive dream work, dream telepathy, Buddhist Tibetan dream yoga, out-of-body experiences, astral projection, sleep paralysis, paranormal dreaming, hypnagogic, hypnopompic dream work, dream analysis in general, obviously. lucid dreaming and lucid living practices, the whole shebang. So if you want this, if you want help with this, we're ready for you. You're in good company. A few more questions that I have for y'all tuning in today. And these are a bit more personal, so just send me a direct private message if one of these resonates with you and you want to talk it through and you don't want to comment publicly. But where do you feel like you're stuck or struggling? Are there any areas where you're consciously choosing not to advance, or you're consciously choosing not to believe, and maybe even perhaps blocking yourself with your practice, whether that's lucid dreaming or lucid living? Are there thoughts arising for you like, this sounds really complicated and I'm not good enough to be able to achieve something like that, it won't work for me? Any of those kinds of limiting beliefs coming up for you? Are you allowing yourself to be blocked in any particular way? And this is particularly potent of a question for these kinds of practices, like talking about connecting with the deceased and doing things in your lucid dreams that are not as possible. I'm not going to say they're not possible, but not as accessible, maybe is a better word, in the waking state. How do you feel like you can shift your perspective? Do you feel like you need to ask for guidance, maybe ask for help? And how are you planning to move forward if any of these things are a blockage for you? Again, if this is what you want, if it's something that you're excited to explore, maybe for the first time, or maybe explore at a deeper level now where you're at in your life and within your practice, I'm truly so excited for you. None of the above that I mentioned will be a problem. If you're ready for it, nothing can stop you. Be willing to follow your heart, follow your dreams every single day. Pay attention to what they're showing you. Who's showing up? What's showing up? Who's ready to show up for you as well? Seek out that information that you need. Make it happen. God is on your side. Don't quit. Seriously, keep going. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below with your perspective on connecting with the deceased in lucid dreams. I love hearing from you guys. Come and join us in the Facebook group, my Lucid Dreaming and Lucid Living Facebook community, where you can tune into these live every single Wednesday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you're in the Facebook community, by all means, please drop a comment with any of the topics or themes that you would like me to cover next. And you never know, maybe I will pick yours. Other than that, wishing you all a week of big dreams, lucidity, connection, and abundance. See you next week.
It's life-changing, both personally and professionally.
The process of really stepping into the next level of my entrepreneurship in ways that I hadn't even realized I was blocked, because the dream world reveals to you not only what's possible, but also what maybe is hidden.
But I've learned so much about how lucid dreams can benefit my future and my business, and it's been such an exciting adventure already, and I cannot wait to continue on.
I love the way she structured the course and how it's so clear and kind of step by step. So for a complete novice like me, who only really had a very vague idea of what lucid dreaming actually was, it felt really accessible.
I feel more focused on exactly where I want to go, and I am so grateful to be part of this course. It will change your life. It will change your mindset. It will give you tools you never knew you wanted. Like, it's seriously amazing.
But I have to say that Lana is an amazing teacher of the class, and I would suggest anybody taking it. It's definitely scholarly, like college level kind of course, and it's an 8-week program. So check it out.
Even if simply on a one-on-one basis in her dream coaching, I think that's extremely valuable.
If you are on the fence, if you are thinking about getting into your dream life, I suggest getting lucid with Lana.